Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. The crime numbers are out for 2015, and they show an increase of police responding to more calls, thousands of more calls from last year.
Valley News Team's Krista Boehm joins us now to break down the numbers and what could be causing the spike. Krista?
More than 74,000 times Fargo police were called last year. That's nearly 9,000 calls more than in 2014. If you break that down, Fargo Police Chief David Todd says that's around 200 more calls per day and on average about 9 calls per hour to a department that's down 14 police officers. Chief Todd says the shortage means not all areas of Fargo can be covered all day, every week, and caseloads are piling.
There are times we're not able to fill every beat, every shift, every day of the week, and sometimes officers are covering a couple of beats, and sometimes detectives are trying to manage up to 30 active cases on their desk at a time. So that's a challenge for our personnel.
Most of the calls this past year have been for property crimes like theft, a crime Chief Todd says they've seen driven mostly by drugs.
A lot of those property crimes are addiction driven.
Wow.
And so what we have seen is an increase in heroin and meth in our community. And particularly that addiction to heroin can really drive property crimes because people steal things in order to trade them for drugs or pawn them or sell.
About 900 more arrests were also made this last year. Chief Todd says the spike in crime numbers is because of population growth, adding that it could be demographics changing or a culture and attitude towards law enforcement. Andrea?
All right, thank you, Krista. To see the full report, head to valleynewslive.com and click on this story.
Fargo police say there's been an increase in burglaries in the areas within apartment buildings in South Fargo. We want to show you a map. Police say that from Interstate 29 to Veterans Boulevard and 13th Avenue South, they have been the main areas, target areas. They say multiple apartments have been entered, some when occupied. The suspect or suspects entered through an open patio and interior doors. The majority of these burglaries have occurred in the Amber Valley area, but there have been others in the area south of West Acres. Garages have been also entered. Now, Fargo police are reminding you to keep your doors and windows locked even when you're in home or you're in your apartment. Also to report any suspicious vehicles or people in the area to police. Now, answers will be coming soon from investigators on how a 26-year-old Fargo woman died. Last August, former NDSU student Casey Jo Schulte was found dead in a Fargo apartment garage. Police say they believe they know how she died, but can't say any more yet. What we have learned from parents so far is that her death was probably from an accidental overdose of painkillers, suicide, or was killed. Schulte's mom says she was the victim of opiate overprescribing. She was diagnosed with Crohn's disease and was in constant pain. As for the investigation into Schulte's death, police say their part is over, and it's up to the Cass County State's attorneys whether any charges will be filed in this particular case.
Authorities are investigating whether a GoFundMe account set up for 3 boaters who drowned on Lake of the Woods last fall was a scam. Keith Ayers, Justin Hauptvedt, and Cody Ostendorf all died when their boat capsized in rough water. A supposed friend of the families set up a GoFundMe account that raised over $27,000. However, it appears that at least some of that money was never given to the families. The Lake of the Woods County Sheriff's Department has issued a statement saying no arrests have been made and no charges have been filed, but an investigation into the matter is ongoing.
Still no sign of a dog owner whose dog attacked another dog at a park in Grand Forks last weekend. Police released a photo of an ATV, which is similar to the one that was driven by a man who was seen leaving the area at the time of the incident. Now, the man's dog was stabbed to death by the owner of a dog that was bitten in the neck at the Lincoln Dog Park in Grand Forks. Police want to find the man to verify whether the owner of the dog who was bitten in the attack needs rabies shots.
The commander of San Diego's Naval Medical Center says absolutely nothing has been found to indicate that shots were fired inside the hospital today. Authorities received a single report of 3 shots fired inside of one of the hospital's buildings this morning. That prompted a swift lockdown of the hospital and the evacuation of everyone inside. Investigators swept the building and found no evidence of a shooting. Nearby schools were also put on lockdown as a precaution. Taxi cab companies in the FM Metro say they are in an uphill battle to stay afloat. They're looking to a recently approved North Dakota law groomed for Uber, which would allow them to charge you whatever rate they think is fair.
Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker was there today as cab company leaders talked to the city of Fargo about the change to come.
Uber has become so customizable. I've heard like crazy things, like people have every different phone charger in their car. They'll have bottled water, they'll have snacks, they'll have like everything that a customer could want.
I guess, for convenience sakes, it is right there on your phone. I guess I would be open to the idea.
For many college students, the idea of using Uber after a night out on the town is more appealing than taking a cab.
I just think it's a little bit more customized and like very customer aware.
This shift in opinions concerning the usage of traditional cabs is being noticed by those in the taxi cab industry.
We're not looking to single out any company. We're looking to standardize the situation in the state of North Dakota.
As it stands now, all the cab companies in the city of Fargo are at the mercy of state laws.
We currently have regulations that all of the companies will charge the same rate, regardless of company size.
Trying to change those regulations would take time cab companies don't have. So one company is suggesting everyone become a transportation network company or a TNC like Uber.
Right now, the one company is a TNC, so why shouldn't we all become TNC? Because we have to survive, and that's the best way for us to survive.
And by becoming a TNC, they could get around state laws they say are hampering traditional cab companies.
We do want to compete on a playing field that's equal for all, and that's all we're looking for.
Cornelius Hawker, Valley News Live.
Now, all of the cab companies that we spoke with at the meeting say if they make the switch to becoming a transportation network company, they won't price gouge their customers. Doyle's Cabs is the only company that has an app like Uber. Since launching that app last spring, their rates have remained consistent.
A Texas grand jury has put a legal end to the controversy surrounding Planned Parenthood and the sale of fetal tissue. The grand jury chose not to indict Planned Parenthood over controversial undercover videos that anti-abortion advocates alleged showed the illegal sale of fetal tissue. This grand jury chose to indict the two activists who helped create those videos. After months of reviewing the footage, one activist was indicted under a law that bans the purchase and sale of human organs. He and another activist were both indicted for tampering with a governmental record.
We're thrilled, but not surprised, of course, that the grand jury has found that Planned Parenthood did nothing wrong. Yes, today we're vindicated by the findings of this grand jury.
Here in North Dakota, the Supreme Court has ruled that North Dakota officials cannot enforce a law that would have banned abortions as early as 6 weeks, a law many anti-abortion advocates were hoping to use in their states across the country.
For 7 years, the best and brightest at North Dakota State University have put together some of the most innovative ideas, pushing them to think outside the box when it comes to getting a job after college. The Innovation Challenge will give away $27,000 in cash prizes to students who come up with the most innovative ideas. A lot of these projects could eventually turn into entrepreneurial endeavors for students going out into a less than ideal job market.
A lot of students may think they have to go get a job and work for somebody, but the fact is a lot of jobs today are created by entrepreneurs, and this community in particular is filled with a lot of young startup companies.
Winners will be announced in March. Past winners have went on to have successful businesses with the ideas created through this event.